Good morning everyone, or hello, it might not be morning if you're listening. It's Natalie again on reporting on day 21, 3 weeks completed of the 28-day Jason Vale Super Juice Me plan. All's gone really well so far. There've been very few little sort of brief wobbles over the past 3 weeks. I am going to go on to I'm not going to do daily ones for this last week. I'm just going to do one at the end. I might do a couple at the end, maybe one separately of tips, I don't know. But I'm not going to do the daily ones for the rest of the week because I've got so much stuff that I need to be catching up on. So by yesterday morning I had a 12-pound weight loss, which I'm really happy with. It's nowhere near what I could lose doing fasting, but the fasting is not sustainable and I don't really want to do the fasting anymore or be enslaved to that. The thing I really like about this is that I'm just flooding my body with nutrition. I'm not going to end it by feeling deprived. I'm just going to end it feeling that I've really given my body probably the best nutrition it's ever had over a 4-week period. So there are a few sort of little things that have my skin has got a little bit worse in some ways. I think that is down to the celery juice because I've done the Anthony Williams celery juice. I quite quickly built it up to 16 ounces, which is about half a litre, within a few days. I really didn't think I was even going to start the celery juice, let alone carry it on. I'm now going to carry that on longer than when the plan finishes. Some of the things like my skin, the dryness is going. I do believe that our skin is self-regulating and that we don't actually need lots of creams and potions and lotions. I really haven't ever believed that. The only thing I ever put on my skin, if I do, is coconut oil or organic shea butter or organic coconut oil. I think the more we interfere with it, the more we upset its natural balance and we teach it to become dependent on these products that actually, if we just were to have proper nutrition and live more healthily, our skin would just normalize. And if it doesn't, it's because there are other things going on in the body. I'm reading a bit more of the Anthony Williams stuff, which has really been very challenging. Some very long held beliefs. I've mentioned this in another video, but in case you haven't seen that. But I am taking it all on board. I am really interested in carrying on with the celery juice and seeing how it goes. But my skin tone is definitely better overall. I've always suffered with like a rosacea, even though I don't drink, very dry skin. Never had really an even skin tone unless I go out in the sun, which is what I love in the summer is go out and get a tan and then my skin all looks nice and evenly toned. But even so, it still isn't really under the surface. So generally, as I've mentioned in other videos, I'm sleeping really quite well. For me, I do get up multiple times to go to the loo. I'm not drinking enough, keep forgetting to take the probiotics, haven't done much exercise. This is obviously over the whole of the 3 weeks. And yesterday, actually, I was really cold. I mean, it was quite cold, but, it was probably about 10, 11, 12 degrees. But I was really, really cold and couldn't get warm when I went to bed last night. And again, I think that could be, just from something I've read in the celery juice book, the Anthony Williams celery juice book, that could be an effect of the celery juice because it cools, it soothes the liver, it cleanses the liver, and most people's livers tend to run very hot. I'm not somebody who gets hot or very warm at all. If anything, I always feel the cold, but again, that is a symptom of various other things in our body not functioning the way that they quite should. So obviously where I've combined this celery juice, I need to look back at my videos and actually find out when I started it, because I must have been doing it for perhaps over 2 weeks. I've been trying to work it out. Maybe day 5 or something I started adding this celery juice in. Instead of doing the Jason Vale celery and cucumber shot in the mornings and the ginger shot and apple shot in the mornings, I've been doing the celery juice. And I'm now having close to, today it was about 19 ounces. So it's probably close to 600 millilitres in the mornings. I just do 2 heads of celery. I have done a video on doing that if that's of any interest. Really it's just about the juicing, but maybe at the end of this or after a couple of months of doing the celery juice, maybe I'll do a report on how that's gone. improvements in my skin and any other health things. I mean, I don't really have any major health things going on outwardly, but I am sure that there are things going on inwardly that are as a result of years and years and years of eating junk and rubbish, and then I'd have periods of eating really clean, and then I'd fall off the wagon and go back to my food addictions again. And I had just been there before doing this juicing plan. So I suppose in one respect it's been very helpful to do the Jason Vale juicing plan and combine it with the celery juice. And in fact, I don't think I would have even discovered the celery juice if it hadn't been for the Jason Vale plan. But on the other hand, it's kind of the two, by doing the two together, it's hard to tell what to attribute to one and what to attribute to the other. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I'm doing my body lots of good and giving it an opportunity to heal from all sorts of accumulated negative effects from the way I've eaten and things I've done in the past. It's also been a real education because I've changed my mind, or I'm changing my mind about lots of things that I had certain strong beliefs about. So it's all good. I've got one more week to go. Well, I'm actually on day 22 as I report on day 21. I've got a week to go. It's going to be a doddle. I'm probably going to do quite a few soups when I finish doing this. But I had these cheese cravings earlier on. I think it was the first or second week, towards the end of the first week, I think the beginning of the second week. And I'm okay now. I'm really all right. And in fact, I'm going to be careful not to go back to cheese too much, or try and stay away from it for as long as possible, to try to really get over this control that cheese has had over me. It might not sound too bad. For lots of people it's chocolate, and it used to be chocolate for me. It used to be sweets. I haven't eaten sweets for about 8 years. So sweets I've conquered, but I know that I've done that. And I used to be terrible. Chocolate limes were my thing. I'd have a bag of chocolate limes in the car. I would have, as soon as it was open, it would be, oh, I need to tidy that up and finish it. And I'd be the same with anything that was open in the cupboards. Oh, I can't leave that open, and I'd finish it. And then if I started another one, then I'd finish the other one. So I really am somebody who has been to quite extremes. I used to, my food for the day years ago when I used to work in London was 10 curly whirlies. I'd stop at newsagents on the way to work and I'd buy 10 curly whirlies, and that would be my food for the day. If you're living in another country, I'm sorry, you probably don't know what curly whirlies are, but they're like a sort of caramel toffee kind of thing, with lots of holes in it, but covered in chocolate, and I loved them. But I haven't touched any of those kinds of chocolate bars for, it's got to be 8 years, maybe even a bit longer. But I do still have the occasional things like Ferrero Rocher, although I don't particularly like eating those now that I know that they're not doing very good things for the rainforest, using illegally grown cocoa beans. So I try to be ethical about what I buy. But I just need to ride this wave, really, when the plan is finished, of enjoying not being held hostage by foods, or not being controlled by foods and cravings and overeating. I would go and buy 10 packets of goat's cheese and just get, it might not sound like the worst thing to be eating, but I would just have these real extremes with my food. So I feel as though for the first time, possibly, probably not the first time actually, but the first time of doing this intentionally and consciously, food hasn't got this hold over me, and it's so liberating. It's just fantastic. So I wish that for all of you as well. If you're doing the plan, if you're just starting, I think you might find it helpful to not have quite so many videos to go through by me not doing daily ones for the rest of the plan now. You can just catch up on the sort of full week update. But I don't want to ramble on too much. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I've not said. I mean, really, this is kind of a combined update now of the anti-Williams celery juice, because I do think, like my rotator cuff injury, I think it's called, with my arm, each day I'm finding I can do more and more and more and more with my arm. And I think that could well be more the celery juice than the other stuff, although the other stuff is obviously really helping, and people on the Super Juice Me film had amazing results too with all sorts of things. So who knows, it doesn't really matter, because whatever it is, it's all doing good. And if it wasn't for the Jason Vale plan, I wouldn't have discovered the celery juice and all of the Anthony William medical medium work. So I am still trying to get my head around some of it. It just doesn't sit too comfortably with me, but I try to be open to everything and attached to nothing, as Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say. So anyway, I hope this might be of some help. If you're starting or if you're on the plan, please do persevere with it. It's really not for long, and you just never know where it could be taking you, and discover all sorts of other things like I have with the celery juice that could be totally transformational in your life and in your emotional well-being too, because when we're healthy in our body, we're healthy in our mind, and vice versa. Not always, doesn't always work that way, but they do lead into each other. So I will see you in a week, and thank you very much as always for watching, taking the time to watch, and I wish you every success if you're embarking on the plan. Keep going, it's really worth it. Speak to you soon.